everybody, this is Coach Allison back. We're already in week 7, and I've got Defy Aging to review with you. So we have one large circuit with 7 exercises, and we're going to go through that circuit for 7 rounds, for 3 rounds. They're all going to be timed the same at 40 seconds on and 30 seconds off. All right, pretty straightforward. Let's review our 7 exercises. Station 1 is a half a kneel chop. So we're in this half kneel position. We want both knees to be at about 90 degrees for the bend in the knee there. We're going to choose a relatively lighter medicine ball. So I don't want you to go too heavy on this. I have a 6-pounder. Arms are stretched out mostly straight. Keep a soft bend in your elbows. We start down at the side with the space in front. So my right side has this space. That's where I'm going to start the ball here. I tipped a little bit. And we go at an upward diagonal towards the opposite direction, control it back down. Let your chest, shoulders, head, everything follow the ball. So notice I'm not twisting this way, but keeping my head forward like this. I'm not doing this. You get a much better range of motion. Look how much farther back I can twist if my shoulders, head, and my gaze and everything goes with the ball. Halfway through the set, so at the 20-second mark, we'll switch sides. So you'll get 20 seconds on each side. So we're going slow and controlled. We're not whipping the ball back, slow, controlled. A lot of stability here, so you might feel yourself feeling a little tippy. That's fine. If kneeling is not an option, you can try that with a staggered stance. So you'll stagger your stance like this. Notice it's very similar. And same thing. Start down with the side that has more space down here. If you were down here, you'd run into your leg. Same thing. Up and back, still letting the head follow the ball. Okay. And when you're standing, if that's a little unsteady, there's a third option. If needed, you can do this seated. That's always an option. Sitting like this on a box, bench, chair, what have you. Okay, so there are 3 options for this. Try that half kneel and pick the option that is best for you. Next up, we have a mini band fire hydrant. So I've already got the band on my legs just above the knees. Okay, we're going to be in that half kneel position. So you want to have a nice quadruped position. And I'm going to take one leg up to the side. Okay, you only have to bring the leg so far down until you feel the resistance on the band release. You don't have to bring the knees all the way back down together. Can you see from the side? You see my knees? So like I'm only coming down to about here, because then I'm feeling the band release the tension. So I don't have to come all the way back down to knees together because the band fully releases. So if that made sense. A couple things to keep in mind. We don't want to compensate to get the knee higher by turning and twisting and tilting the body. See how I'm turning my hips because it makes me feel like I'm getting my leg higher. So try not to do that. Stop wherever you need to. So it's making my range of motion feel a little smaller, but I'm actually getting more benefit out of it because we want to keep the rest of the body in really good form. So don't be turning and twisting and tilting. Same thing as with the first exercise, halfway point, we will switch legs. Keep your upper body here nice and sturdy. So don't be, again, I'm going to show you what not to do here. Don't be like dipping this elbow down to try to compensate and get a bigger range of motion. Keep the arms nice and straight, nice and strong. For anyone staying off the floor, you're going to turn this into a leg raise, lateral leg raise, and put this closer down by the ankle, maybe the lower calf. Hold on to something for balance if you like, that's fine. And we're going to do a lateral leg raise like this from the front. So you can see what I'm doing. Same idea with trying not to compensate though. Don't lean like this to compensate and help get that leg higher. Keep your body relatively still. You'll have a little, watch my body, you can have a little shift to the side just to kind of clear some space. Get that foot off the floor. That's fine, but we're not thrusting the body like that with each rep. So fire hydrant on all fours, standing as another alternative. A band pull apart is the next one. You can put your arms through the handles to keep them a little more controlled so they're not flopping all around. You want to grip the band right in the center, really close together. Arms are up, so elbows and arms are about parallel to the floor. And I want you to pretend you're trying to rip this in half, tear it in half. Bring your elbows back behind you, kind of pop the chest out, squeeze these shoulder blades together, and pull as hard as you can. Release. Pull. Elbows go back behind you. Again, it's like you're trying to tear this in half. Okay, use a really firm band. And that's it. So it's a very small range of motion, really. But if you have a firm enough band and you're really holding on tight and really pulling it with all you've got, pulling those elbows back, you might get a little extra arch in this back if you're really pulling back hard. By the end of the 40 seconds, your rear delts and everything kind of in the middle of the upper back there should be pretty fatigued. And that is our band pull apart. Next is contralateral single leg deadlift. And why does that sound familiar? Yes, because it's the same thing we've been doing in our warm up for all of January and now for the beginning of February. So we're getting pretty accustomed to it. And I want to challenge everybody now to use some weight. Okay? Kettlebell, I think, is going to balance you out a little better. You can grab a dumbbell if you prefer. Again, I think a kettlebell, that bottom loaded weight, is going to be a little more friendly. So you might notice, you might be a little afraid of the weight, but I'm going to guess that you might notice the weight might be a little more advantageous. It might be on your side. A lot of people find that the weight actually sort of helps to ground you and actually assist in the balance. So it kind of pulls you down a little bit, not in a negative way, in a good way. It kind of grounds you a little more. So I want to see what you think. So I'm not going to do a big demo on this because we do this in our warm up before every Defy. So balancing on the opposite leg. Now instead of just reaching down with the opposite hand, that's the one you're holding the weight with. Totally fine to use something for balance. I don't want you to worry about the balance that much. I want you to just do the work. Okay? So if you want to hold something for balance, totally fine. Really important though to keep that back flat and not be hunching the back. That's the most important thing. So, but we know all these guidelines because we've been doing this for almost a month and a half now. But now is your chance to add a little bit of weight, start progressing this move as we've been practicing it for a while, and let's give it a try. I did forget to say, we're going to switch sides halfway through as we've been doing with everything else this workout. So halfway through, switch sides. Next up, we have a slow positive chest press. We normally do a slow negative, which is the slow releasing of the weight. Now we're going to do a slow concentric, a slow pressing up of the weight. So come down with your weights to the floor. Okay, palms forward, elbows out to the side, and then dip them down just a little bit. So normally, like I say, we do a slow negative. So we'll go up kind of quick and we release them slow. That's what we typically do. We're going to do the reverse today or this week. So I want you to press up on a 4 to 5 second count. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come down normal speed. That's about 1 to 2 seconds on the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. Okay? Put them down like that. Plunk the bells down like that. Don't put them down this way. All right, so we're going to give that a try this week. It's going to feel a little different. Now, I don't want you to think of that way down as being fast. So don't like fling them down. Bring them down with control, just faster than the way up. All right? Anyone staying off the floor, we're going to wheel an incline bench into the space for you. If for any reason we're unable to do the incline benches, we can do the same thing on a wall with push-ups or an incline with push-ups. So you would come down to the wall with normal speed and then push yourself up slowly. So you come down like this and then push yourself up on that 4 to 5 second count. So if we don't have the incline benches or we're not using those, that's another option. All right, next up is bottom loaded march in place. A lot of varieties of marching in place. So this week we're going to do bottom loaded. So that actually refers to two things, kind of. I meant it to mean we're holding the weights down at our sides as opposed to maybe a goblet style or overhead. But I also want everyone to be using kettlebells. That also offers that bottom loaded weight. as opposed to a dumbbell, which has the weights loaded on either side of your hands. So grab 2 equal weight kettlebells, hold them down at your sides, and we keep the posture up tall and go for a nice controlled march. Okay, from the side, it'll look like this. Keep your chin parallel to the floor so we're not looking down, and we're certainly not looking up, but keep your eyes looking straight ahead. Watch that posture, make sure it's not starting to slouch at all, but also make sure you're not leaning back. Okay, so posture nice and tall and straight. And that's our bottom loaded march in place. The last station is a battle rope, and it's going to be speed waves. So it's going to be alternating, but I want to go for small, faster movements specifically, as opposed to maybe doing some bigger arm movements. That's certainly not wrong. It's just a different variety, and the variety we're doing this week is going to be speed waves. So got your ropes in each hand, get in that athletic stance, so pop your hips back, really plant your feet. Okay, so we're not doing the waves, we're not just, when we do battle ropes, we're not kind of just standing up tall and, you know, it's wide stance, plant your feet like if someone came to give you a shove, you wouldn't move. That's a good athletic stance, that's what we need. That said, we're doing, let's get a better view of the ropes a little bit here. Doing fast, small waves. So you need some slack on the rope. So step forward so there's a little slack. And fast, small waves, as opposed to maybe doing like bigger arms that we might do sometimes. So that's what we're going for this week. They're called speed waves. Slow, small, but fast. Notice how the movement's coming more from the elbow down. My shoulders are staying relatively still. When we do bigger movements, the whole arm is moving, maybe even our hips are kind of moving. With these speed waves, everything's staying pretty still except for the elbow down. So it's more of an isolated movement with the arm. A little variety there. Might feel a little different to you. I don't know if some people might find it harder. Some people might find it easier. Let's give it a try. All right, team builder. It's going to be a medicine ball duck walk relay. Okay, so this one's going to make everyone look nice and goofy all together. That's always fun. It's more fun to look goofy as a group, right? So you're going to be in 2 teams. Now, a duck walk is pretty much kind of being in a half of a squat, and you're going to have a wider stance than normal. So kind of like a sumo, like our sumo squats are this, right? Wide stance. You're going to sort of have that stance. Now, why do we have to have the wide stance? Because we have this medicine ball in front of us. You're going to hold that low, relatively low, maybe half of this squat stance. Walk and roll this medicine ball as you go. Obviously, when you get to the end, turn around and go back. Now, the hard thing here is doing that walk properly, like this, keeping the back kind of straight. What we don't want to do is just slump forward and down, which is really easy to do. It's going to actually hurt your back a little bit. But since it's a relay, you're going to be racing your other team. I know we might want to go fast and probably lose form, but try to think about the form first. Because it's easy to do this and just bend down, right? We don't want to do that. We want to have that nice flat back, wide stance, keeping the chest up. It's kind of harder than it looks. So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't worry about what you look like. We're going to see what team finishes first and see who's the big winner. Duck dinner, I guess. All right, everybody, that is week 7. Okay, thanks for watching this. Hope you enjoy the workout, and we'll see you back in week 8.